Are we like live right now or no?
Everything that brought me alive. Though we're all like monsters, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. It took my innocence without an alibi. Smoking gun, you got me on the run. We know there will come. We're out up till dawn. But how can I hide it without an alibi? It's a lover's fight without an alibi. Took my innocence. I can't wait no longer. I'm playing with the monsters. Everything that brought me alive. Oh, we're all like monsters, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. It took my innocence without an alibi.
Welcome in here, ladies and gentlemen, to TPC Week 3. My name's Wolfie Tua in the booth with Osire. Osire, it's going to be an action where I don't think we're going to be able to contain ourselves. You see yourself on the go, and I think these players are ready to hit the go button. But, what are you hoping to expect here today?
I mean, I'm expecting literally anything, but at the same time, everything. Like you're right, I am a bit on the go, so the fact that I'm going to stop for this really just means it's meant to be something, right? I mean, I wouldn't just stop out of nowhere unless, there's people about to hit me in the car. Then maybe I could claim insurance, but that's not what it's about right now. So I'm excited to see these two players play right now, and I've been out of it. You've not seen me anytime during the weeks. I've just been a busy lad, so I'm glad to finally be a part of what's happening, and you can fill me on everything I missed out, because it seems I've just been missing out on all this jam-packed action, right?
Well, for all the fans at home who also have been missing out, Dipper, he's leading the way. This is a person who got a sweep in Week 1. He was not able to play against Maxi Manafee in Week 2, so that one's still up in the air. But this is where he's saying, hey, I'm on stream for the first time this season. I got second place behind one of our new commentators this year in Lethal Brawler. So he's saying, hey, the top dog's gone. I'm the new top dog. I was last year's rising star, and he wants to put it against Crackers here tonight, where I feel he's going to look for that type of outcome that he had in week 1.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I was fun fact, I was actually there with Lethal Brawler last year, because I remember when this kind of high school league even happened, even when it was a inter high school like tournament. One time I actually went to go help out one of the tournaments, and I saw him there just sweep everybody, even back then when Berg was playing. And it was just nice to see like the community be made just out of square one, right? Because you don't really know who the big dog is until you open the door, right? It doesn't matter how loud you hear the barking. You don't see them until you see them.
Yeah, and this is one where, you know, being able to go out to locals, being able to see what's out there, like you mentioned, you know, Dipper, he had a chance to see Darklaw, who in many people's opinions, I'm curious to see what yours is going to say, who's one of the top players here in the Valley, or the top player now that, you know, Shattuck is no longer here and going out to his collegiate level. Dipper wants to make that shine. He played against him. It was not the outcome Dipper was hoping for, and he said, all right, the real world's the real world. This is some heavy competition. But, you know, for a young player like Dipper, who's a senior this year, what was something that you would tell him when he got that type of experience against a player like Darklaw?
Lose. And lose again. And the thing is that you don't want to only just lose. You want to learn. Me personally, I only played within my school. I was one of the best, or I was the best. And then I learned about the McAllen Library that we have here in our local scene. Then I started playing over there, and then I learned, hey, I'm actually one of the best here. That was until, unless you know local level, that's until Bull Hall showed up. My world opened. And then after that, they started disappearing. We had another friend who said, hey, we host local.
Well, you know, hosting those locals is so crucial, so important. And, you know, being able to come out here week in and week out, and we know a player in Simply Fear who we just saw this past weekend at Anime Fiesta. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had a chance to go to a local, especially as big as Anime Fiesta, you need to get there. And, you know, the next one coming up, I believe, is in January, the Gamers Expo. But one land that still needs to be decided is our playoff land coming back in December. And, you know, this is one where I'm expecting to see a lot of familiar faces. Crackers right now waiting into the lobby. Unfortunately, he does have to wait a couple more minutes for his match to be played. And it looks like we have a player in here. And, you know, unfortunately, we do have all caps locks on here as we tell him to join up. But our match is underway. Hopefully, Osire finds his way back in the booth. But, you know, when you're on the road, ladies and gentlemen, all you can really say is, hey, I need to just be able to come out here and see what I can come up with. We do have some matches.
Hello.
And they're even back. Osire, you know, I think the competition got so intense that it kicked you out of here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I was about to get to the good part of my story, too. And then, you know, he didn't want anyone else to hear it. He doesn't like anybody else starting up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so before all that happens again, I will say, like, once again, I met him, and if it wasn't for the local scene, I thought I was always a winner. No, I was a 1-2er, and then I became a 2-2er, and I was like, I'm very proud of where I was at that situation, and then it wasn't until, like, 2021 where I finally became ranked for the first time in 2022, or was it early 2023? I forget. It's so long ago. Oh, my God. And then now I can really call myself a consistent top 10 player in the Valley. But I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't that. If it wasn't me learning about the competition 5 years ago, and I barely got here.
Well, and you know, to be able to get to this point, it's just constant grind. You know it yourself. It's not an easy one, especially the way you're mentioning with Darklaw. What you want to do is lose. The only way to become successful is to go through some failures, and you know, to be able to get over that mental hurdle. That's why it's so important to have these type of competitions where these young athletes can start getting used to, you know, one, structure, and two, grinding against the best here. And that's the only way you can get better. And you mentioned there's a lot of local demons here in the Valley who I feel shouldn't be local demons. I think they should be global demons. And it's when we're getting the opportunity, putting yourself out there, making sure that your name is getting put on a scale where you're undeniable now.
Yeah, I mean, I must agree. Like, hell, I've been in this competition for I don't know how long, and my name is just like barely known within Texas, right? But somebody like Shattuck, like our previous number one, has been grinding since he was like 8. and he's on a global scale. Though now he's on a hiatus, that doesn't mean we forgot his name.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I expect him to be competing in Collegiate Smash very, very soon. The school that he's going to, their esport program, I know their Smash lead is just licking his chops saying, who did we just get? Did we just get Shattuck? Oh, my God. I know the scholarship for that must be insane. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, all this, being able to have that type of scholarship and seeing someone go there, what does that kind of tell young players?
I mean, this is a new generation, right? Back then, maybe my mom made fun of this, my dad made fun of this, but this is something that if your skill is just good enough, it can suffice as a job. It can get you places. Times have changed. It's just the truth, right? The opportunity wasn't there when I was there. My school never offered any esports, but it's glad that people like this, and especially the Prospect Cup, can give people an opportunity to shine. And I think that's very important moving forward.
Well, as we continue moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 on the line right now. Crackers, Dippers finding themselves inside the arena. And, it's a best of 3 here. What are you looking for here for Crackers, who right now is coming in as the underdog?
Well, Crackers, I mean, an underdog means nothing to me, right? I've been in this position too many times. I've seen so many people in this position. All that matters is who wins.
Who wins? We'll find out. Crackers getting some big damage put onto him quickly. Dipper right now setting the tone early.
Yep. Oh, and that excellent up B out of shield. Like, the hard part is that Mario, he's going to have a hard time getting on you. And luckily, that big sword is going to keep you apart. But the moment Mario gets on you, what do you do to get off? You're just so much slower.
Speed right now. Mario getting to it. The tempo continues to mount. And Dipper right now, he's having a good time.
Nice, beautiful punish. Yep. Yeah, you notice Crackers right now is just a bit slower than Dipper, and Dipper just knows exactly how to get in there. The worst part about it is that you could tell the expertise and the amount of grind that Dipper has done way more than Crackers, because Crackers is barely finding his middle ground. Dipper already understands the tempo of the match and is willing to push it as far as he can.
Push it goes, but where will the Cracker crumble? We will find out here in a Pool 1 matchup. Crackers looking for his first win this season. That one will connect, putting some good damage.
Oh, wow, yeah, Cracker's catching the air dodge too, and I feel like Dipper is really understanding the difference between this right now, because you see him going all off stage for these forward airs. Those can be punished, like we saw Crackers there almost with that forward smash punish, and Dipper just once again going out. He's just saying, you're not going to do anything about this. I'll just keep going for it.
Dipper says, stock number 2 goes to me.
Yep, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, see right there, Dipper just waited out with the punish, and now Crackers right now is just being exposed with all those little flaws in his game plan. Oh, and he almost got the kill for that neutral B.
Right, this is where Crackers is looking for that 1 stock at the very least. You lose this game, all right, but you need to not get 3 stocks here for your confidence. Crackers right now holding on. Dipper trying to take him off as that's going to go. Can he finish it? But Dipper finds himself back on stage.
Yep, oh, and that's death. Yep.
And game goes to the man they call Dipper, getting the first game hero star in a very commanding way.
Yeah, I mean, something I really appreciated watching from this matchup is not only the aggression, but the whiff punish. Basically, what I'm saying is that he'd wait for Crackers to throw out a move, and Dipper would punish whatever comes up afterwards, whether it be by just missing the move and there's an opening, or just straight up punishing it. And I feel like that level of excellence coming from Dipper really just shows how much he's ahead of the competition. Now, that doesn't mean that the mountain is unsurmountable. It's not a mountain at all. That's another person. You can always beat him. But can we see that level of adaptation come from Crackers going into game 2?
I think he has it in him, especially with his experience behind him. Being in a league and knowing early on in the season, these are the must-wins to be able to say, hey, I'm not going to see Dipper again until potentially the playoffs. And that's not where you want to see yourself comfortable. Use this series to really see where he's at. The only issue, it's so early in the season, the players are going to change as we go on.
And the change to Little Mac, maybe you want a little bit more armor, especially when he's going to be landing on you all the time. Yo, recovery will take a big hit. Will Dipper be able to capitalize on this change, or will Crackers just take it forward?
Well, the best of 3 here in game number 2. Dipper trying to get the janitorial staff to come in early and grab a sweep, and he is going on a sweep here quickly. 60 quick damage in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, and yep, see right there, that level of patience from Dipper, forwarder, that is true, but unfortunately just not at that percent.
Good job there for Crackers, just reading that one, but can't get out of too much damage. It just seems that, Dipper has game plans. He has the A, B, and C plan for whenever Crackers come in, but a KO can't go.
No jump. Dipper knowing this, that's why he didn't overextend like sometimes he usually does. He just waited because he knew Crackers could do nothing to recover.
Well, and this is kind of where, for Dipper, that rising star coming in, he's looking for an MVP this year. He wants to be the most valuable player at the end of this one. And the down smash go, and he's making quick work right now.
Currently at 0% right now. I spoke too early. Man, I hate when that happens. Yeah, but Dipper right now really showing himself, right? And I guess that's why this level of competition is a little bit of a warm-up to him at this point. I guess that's why when he went into the local level, maybe things were different and he's dead.
The only thing different is Crackers going down and Dipper going up. That's staying the same as the Mario main sees himself coming up with a big win in a quick way. He made us wait here a little while, Osire, but he says, don't worry, the match was done quickly.
Yeah, I will make your time worth it. Just give me that time in the first place, and you got it. And that's exactly what we saw coming from Dipper.
And, this is one where I'm looking at Crackers right now, a player who was here last year, but you got put up against the best here, and you kind of saw the levels that you're at. But the difference is, I think Dipper's ability to go into locals and grinding against, top tier players is why he's able to come into the TPC and say, all right, these guys aren't like everybody I see at the local level. They're not Osire. They're not Darklaw. They're not Minute Maid. There's not 7 inches. These are guys who are trying to get to that type of title, but let me show them the dominance that I am now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you are a big dog, but in reality, you're in a lake and you're trying to enter that ocean, right? I'm not trying to take it. I'm like, of course, it's going to be a different sea, but once you realize that you can also eat like the rest of the fishes, well, that's where the growth starts.
Well, the growth continues to come on, ladies and gentlemen, and another matchup coming up on the docket. Mike stepping in for the first time this year after a big finish in TPC Season 1. Will he continue on? We'll find out after this quick break.
See you guys.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile. Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile. there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself, there's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. It might take some time, but I'll be alright. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. Moving on, moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. Some days there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself, there's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. It might take some time, but I'll be alright. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on.
Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You see it through. You see it through. Yeah. You see it through. You see it through. We're gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. We're gonna live forever, forever. The Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than I've lost control of it. Oh.
And welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, into week number 3. Beautiful Tuesday here tonight, Osire. And, our second matchup of the day coming with Mike versus Emmy, a player who last year saw himself in the playoffs in a top 12 position versus a brand new player in Emmy. So, for all of us in attendance, Emmy's first time on stream this season. She's going to try to come out in a big way, especially against a great player like Mike. But, right now, the question is, we're waiting on Mike here. Do you think he's one where he's trying to ice Emmy a little bit and say, hey, I'm going to let your nerves kind of play up a little bit?
I mean, if I told you I haven't seen that before, I would be lying, right? I feel like you shouldn't really think about it like as much as your first time because, although people do say first impressions matter, you get better as time goes on, right? So I feel like it's a bit counterintuitive to be nervous the first time. And even if you lose because of it, that's something you can fix. There's always something to learn.
Well, there's always something to learn. The one thing you want to do is have a game. And, for Emmy, does not want the first stream to be a DQ here. And I know Mike, a very prideful player who at the PSJ North school is one of the dogs there. He's constantly grinding. He's constantly trying to make sure he continues on. And, we talked about Simply Fear a little bit. He goes to that school. So, for yourself, you talked about at your school, you were the top dog. And how kind of is that, for it, when you are that person and everybody else is trying to get to your level?
Like, I'll be honest with you, it's a double-edged sword. It's fun because, you have all these people trying to come at you. But the moment they stop, it gets kind of lonely. I'll be honest with you, right? Because, you're just the best, right? Who's going to challenge you have to wait quite some time. And that's why I said, if you heard me from before, I'm really glad I was able to open my eyes and expand myself locally because I wouldn't be who I am today without it. But then again, that doesn't mean you should underestimate anybody, right? Anyone can come out of anywhere. I'll tell you right now, that same tournament I said I went to go visit Lethal Brawler and Berg at? I saw, and I crap you not, a 6th grader practicing peach float cancels. I was flabbergasted. You don't need to know that right now.
Oh my God. It's just showing you that the next breed of esport players, they're different. They and it's kind of where I feel the reason for that is, for players like yourself who've been in the scene, for players that come down to the Valley, thanks to G-Side, thanks to Kaboom, they can come out and see what big players are already doing. So they're saying, okay, the top guys are doing this. Okay, let me try to practice that. It's not where the meta is changing constantly. It's where you can see where the meta is and be like, okay, this is what's working. Of course, I want to improve and kind of push the boundaries of it. But they get to visually see some of these top players already do some amazing things.
Yeah. I feel like something that definitely helps though is, like I said earlier, just try not to view everybody, even somebody like the number 1 in the Valley, number 1 in the world, try not to view them as mountains, right? Because everyone is people at the end of the day, right? They had to start from somewhere. Spargo was an online warrior in 2019. He just didn't play the game. Afterwards, he started playing right after quarantine ended, and look where he is now, right? Dora Migi, the number 1 new player in the world, just turned 16 today. He started when he was 9.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen.
To say.
TPC, we might just start going into the elementary level at this point from that type of statement. That's insane to hear.
I mean, the earlier the better, honestly. Like, I just feel like people don't realize it's a real thing. And then the moment they get their eyes turned open, they don't want to shut them off.
And it's one where, that kind of statement, it goes heavy onto Glitter. And Glitter, he's been, was last year Middle School Player of the Year. We saw him last week on stream. And, his coach, Jimothy, who we're all very familiar, he's part of the league. As a caster here, was an integral part of it. He says once the league started and Glitter saw a taste of competition, he has just been grinding away. He saw it and he said, this is what I want to do. I didn't know this was a possibility, but now that there's a place for me to be able to succeed in, I'm going to hold on to that and never let go. So, having that mindset at a young age is critical to be able to. And, Glitter is 9th grade right now. And, who knows? Maybe the next crop of esport players, they might be looking at South Texas here in the 956 and saying that's where all the best Smash players are coming out of right now.
Mm-hmm. Like, everyone has come from anywhere. Anyone can, like, not everybody can be a great cook, as Ratatouille once said, but a great cook can come from anywhere. And I think that's the beauty of it, right? Is like, even though this is really a competition where you could be having your life on the line, in reality, these are just nesting grounds. These aren't anywhere where you can really, like, grow exponentially. But this is a place where you can realize that there is more around you than you think. And I'm really glad that you guys have given us this opportunity. I'm glad to be a part of it, right? Like I said, you have a lot of different players like Jimothy right now coaching. They probably think of him as a god. And imagine he just turned to a 1-2 over there in Kaboom, and their eyes are going to open even further. Like, this is the floor?
Yeah. Exactly. And, Jimothy, he's getting a lot of recognition now from what he's able to do. And I think the Valley is just hungry for these type of competitions. Not just competitive, but the structure, the streams, the recognition, the want to be able to say, I'm up next. I'm not pushed to the side now. There's a platform for me to go out there and just say, I know what I need to come up with. And this is where, unfortunately, I don't look like we're about to get a match right now, but I think Emmy is going to be sitting out here with just warm hands saying, I needed a game. I might just go down to Kaboom right now to get one.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fine. If she wants to drop by at 6 p.m. Saturday at Kaboom Games McAllen, I mean, I'm all for it. I'll see you there, right?
Yeah, we'll be doing the stream there for all y'all don't know that. So, you want to see the TPC staff in person casting? Kaboom, McAllen, Texas. That's where you need to be at.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, like, maybe it's just because we're a very small community. Everyone down there is friendly. Like I said, I've been a part of this scene for officially since like 2018, 2019. I mean, I was there in the end of Smash 4, but, I was a nobody. I didn't even know this was a thing, right? I only did it during convention tournaments. And then again, there were more people there, And I feel like it's just a very good nesting ground for growth. And really, if you can hold your head up high, take every loss with stride, decide to ask questions, learn, ask people for friendlies, things will happen. And as somebody with insider Smash scene insight, I will say that we are going through, and even though it's been 8 years since the game has come out, it came out in 2017 in December. Even though it's been almost 8 years, we are going through another phase of immense growth and inspiration. And I haven't seen this since 2014, the beginning of 2014. And before that, the beginning and the middle of 2013. And it's just this kind of level of inspiration that comes from our number one, that comes from our number two, that comes from a 1-2er, that comes from a 2-2er. That just inspires all of us to get better together. So that's why I'm really glad that these places can get well known, that they can really understand you. You're not alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's where I think being able to be part of this community, and the more you make the friends, the more you're willing to. And I think it's one where you start meeting like-minded individuals, and that's where the growth comes in. Is wanting to go out there and say, wow, there's people that want what I want. And I think these players are starting to get that glimpse of it. And my hope right now is their parents see it. Their parents are going in and saying, little Timmy never cared about anything. Now he's just constantly on the game, but he's talking with friends. He's getting better. Yeah. His grades are improving. The TPC, one thing that we do, and hopefully we this past weekend was report cards. You have to have a 70% passing grade level to be able to participate. And we do that so colleges can see these students and say, they're college ready. We don't have to worry about their GPA. We just have to worry about, are they ready to play? They are. Yeah. Boom. You got accepted into our school. And I think once those parents see that, things might change.
I mean, and hell, you're asking for the minimum, right? You just said a 70%. That's a C, right? My parents would beat me for C's. I mean, I'm saying a bit too much, but that's just the truth. And I played the game too. So I'm really glad that we're setting a minimum, just a standard for people to get ready for both real life and video games if they decide to go down the way. Because not many people have this opportunity. So we're very glad for people to get to know, get to watch. Because like I said, the most important one, in my opinion, would be your parents, right? Especially because, like I said, not many people can really support them, and they don't really get that far. I know my parents didn't support me, and then, like I said, I still have a lot of real life stuff. I have a full-time job, I have a part-time job. I'm still paying for car bills and all that stuff, and I still have enough time to be top 10 in the Valley for 3 years plus, And a lot of these players don't have as much time as you think you do. And yet we still care enough about the game to really enjoy it. And so it's always so wonderful seeing new competition, like-minded competition, to help each other grow and get better.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue getting better each and every day, but we're going to continue growing. And one thing we need you is your help. Smash that heart button, leave a follow. For TPC, Osire, I think these players are getting something that they're going to take for the long haul. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a match in right now, so that is going to be the end of the stream. But, it's the start of the week. We still have a stream on Thursday. We have a stream coming up this Saturday to talk about the top clips of the week, as well as what kind of happened throughout this week. But if you're going to tell the players anything before we get out of here, what do you want to tell them?
It's gonna sound hard, but keep moving forward. Every win you have, make it humble. Learn from the mistakes that you had in that match. If you lose, learn from the mistakes. Trust your coaches, and if you don't trust them, you can always drop by Kaboom Games McAllen on Saturday, huh?
Well, you heard it here, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
always willing to help if they ever have the gusto to say hi. I'm not some mountain. I'm just Jay, right? Before I'm Osiris, I am Joaquin, and people need to know that too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's one where you heard it here. You want to get better? Hit up Osire. If you're in our Discord, send him a DM. I don't know. I'm putting yourself out there, Osire. But, it's one where I think these players, they're ready. And, the Valley, get ready. We're in week number 3, ladies and gentlemen. We have 10 weeks of full action. There's still a lot more TPC to come in. And I hope you guys have a great...
2 more months of this?
Exactly.
Wow.
We have... Yeah, they're playing all the way up until December, where they'll find themselves on land December 13th to see who is the best with no ping advantage, with no latency, just hands.
Hey, I am very excited for all of that. I mean, all they had to do was just come click the join button and prove themselves that they're better. It doesn't really sound like they had a hard time doing it, huh?
No, it is not. But, ladies and gentlemen, smash that heart button. Big thank you to Taco. Big thank you to Jimothy. Big thank you to Osire for all that you do. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you all again on Thursday, 5 p.m. right here. Turn noties on. We'll see you soon.
I'll be watching Thursday. Hope to see you guys there.